How do you acquire wisdom?
Okay, wisdom is not out there for us to acquire. We are already wisdom. We have the wisdom inside of us. It's the same as our soul. We have the soul inside of us. Sometimes we can relate to our soul, can we? But is that an awareness we have all the time? No. It's the same thing. Sometimes we can relate to our wisdom, but the awareness is not there. Awareness, even when I say awareness, you see, it's the awareness as we should always have it. We don't. There are few things that are standing in the way. Wisdom and our soul appears to be darkness to us. But that darkness is full of light. That's why the word says the light in you is darkness. How great is the darkness? So what is making this darkness? This darkness is a pollution we have. And what is making it a pollution? The first thing is our perceptive intelligence. Perceptive intelligence, according to the Bible, it is the knowledge of good and evil. The knowledge of polarities.
Like in Genesis?
In Genesis, yes. It's the knowledge of polarities. Do we have the knowledge of polarities? That's all we have. Whether it is, what we learned in the, in school, in the universities, at our workplace, everything has to do with polarity-based intelligence, which has become our perceptive orders and memories.
Okay.
As a result, we are living in the past, absent in the present moment.
Yes.
And pretty much dead to our future.
Yes, I agree.
Okay? That is the weakness of our perceptive intelligence. Bible says very clearly, it will bring us death, which means chaos.
Where is that? What is that in the Bible that says that?
The knowledge of good and evil will bring you to death. Don't eat it.
Okay. Yes, that is in the Bible.
That is in the Bible. So, see, that is really what the power, of that knowledge, the knowledge of polarity. In Hinduism, we call that the knowledge of Advaita, the knowledge of duality. And but Hinduism is a little bit more positive about it. What Hinduism says is that when we become masters in our knowledge, in other words, when we learn polarity, when we master polarities, we will come to realize that the polarities converge in what they call Dvaita. Dvaita means oneness of being, which is God. But when we are so obsessed with, our own stories, our own backgrounds, our own polarities, that doesn't happen to us. So that was one thing. Second thing is our desires. The desires of holding on to our past. It's a desire about our past. That's why we hold on to them. We feel very insecure without them. We feel something is missing. So, so we have certain desire to hold on to it. And we have certain desires even about us and about the things that we like to do. So that is another thing. Then we have attachments. Attachments as a result of our desires. And these attachments, is can be many, can be several. Attachments to our habits, attachments to our knowledge, attachments to our loved ones, attachment to our properties, attachment to, even certain sinfulness. We cannot let go of those. All of these and more are polluting and creating the darkness. And that's why we cannot see the light. So a few things that we have to understand what wisdom is like, what our soul is like. And we need to believe that, it is really possible for us. Because, when we were infants, we learned our first language from wisdom. When we were little babies, we were an ineffable bundle of joy and love. It is because we were aware of our soul. Then things begin to change. So it really is a matter of going back to who we were as we were infants. Then we will know our soul. Then we will know our wisdom. Come back to our wisdom. That's the reason why Jesus said, you need to be a child to enter into the kingdom.
It's true. It says that very clearly.
Very clearly. We have to be born again. Born again means born as children, born as a child. Born again the way we were born. That's what it literally translates. And when we become people with that level of constant awareness, then we are people of wisdom. Then we are people who are aware of our soul all the time. See, when we talk about soul, when we talk about wisdom, it is important to realize how that awareness feels like. See, this awareness is full of feelings, full of emotions. Okay? These are not emotions and feelings you can categorize and say, this is what it is. It's feeling sad now, it's feeling happy now, it's feeling that, it's feeling this. No, we are intellectualizing immediately. It just basks in whatever it feels. That's what it is. See, in wisdom and in our soul, there is nothing that is ordered. There is nothing that is perceptive. There is nothing that is dualistic, Advaitic, or polarity-based. Everything is oneness, and in that oneness, there is no beginning, there is no end, everything is infinity. Even the emotions and the feelings are of an infinite nature. It really is an energy. We cannot define it. The minute we try to define and interpret and put that in an order, we will lose it instantly. So in order to relate to this wisdom, in order to relate to this soul, what we need to do is transcend certain things about us. Okay? Transcend our polarity-based, ordered intelligence. our perceptive memories, our desires, our attachments, and remain totally empty and naked. When we are empty, when we are nothing, everything will happen to us. Everything will come to us. See, Jesus emptied himself and he was naked, literally naked, when he gave himself to all of us. See, that emptying and nakedness has everything to do with us realizing our soul and our wisdom. So the process of emptying is one of transcending and allow ourselves to be transformed. Okay, so the transcending requires mastery of our ordered perceptions, mastery of our attachments, our desires, and everything. When we master them, we come to realize that they are meaningless. Meaningless compared to what we are seeking. Totally meaningless. Absolutely meaningless. That is when we go to Jesus and ask him, remove this curtain. Get rid of this pollution. Help me out of this darkness. That's a prayer he cannot wait to hear from us. But you see, we need to come to that stage, of totally realizing that our dualities and our attachments and our desires meaningless to a point that it should not even belong, and we need to empty ourselves.
Is that what you talk about when you talk about quietness?
Quietude of the soul. That's exactly what it is. Absolutely empty, having nothing of its own, possesses nothing, holds on to nothing. So when we come to that stage, invariably we will realize our wisdom. We will even realize our soul.
Without doing anything to acquire it?
See, when you're acquiring, you're talking about something that is a lot more material oriented.
Yeah.
It is something out there you want to acquire. Acquiring means it's something that is out there, you are bringing it in. Why do you want to acquire something you already have? It is not the process of acquisition. It is a process of emptying yourself out completely. In the old days, we used to have wells to draw water from. And from time to time, if we want the water to be clean, if we want the water to be healthy, what we do is we drain the water completely from inside the well. See, when we drain the water completely from inside, all the unhealthy conditions go away and we are going to get a new spring coming in. It's just going to seep and it is going to fill the well with good, clean drinking water. So when something is polluted, it really is a matter of emptying it out.
And emptying it out is where things brought about by prayer and meditation.
Prayer, meditation, ascetic practices. Asceticism has a lot to do with it.
Give me some examples.
Fasting is an asceticism. Regulate yourself to do certain things, that is a form of asceticism. In other words, when you're going to wake up in the morning, you're going to meditate for half an hour, for 1 hour. No matter what happens in your life, that is going to be there. That commitment, you're doing it over and over. That's a form of asceticism. And there are many, many ways you can, spend your time in ascetic prayers. Ascetic prayer simply means you would rather spend your time in prayers than investing on something you desire, something you are attached to.
Yeah.
So you deny your attachments, you deny your desires, and spend your time on things, like prayer. Even in contemplative prayers, you deny what you already know, meaning you are deny your perceptive intelligence so that you could learn something more in terms of mysteries. So you're going to deny your perceptive intelligence and you're going to read the gospel or read the Bible and you're going to spend the time searching for mysteries. That's what ascetic prayers is. So when you are seeking your soul, when you are seeking wisdom, asceticism plays a major role. You are a foodie, you love food. Deny it. There are many things like that you can do. Many things you can, It does not mean you are giving up on them. That's not what it means. When you give up on them, you are not denying anything. You just deny it. If I enjoy drinking beer, you just deny it and put the time in ascetic prayers. But it goes, it goes much more than that, St. John of the Cross talks about mortifying your desires, mortifying your attachments, mortifying even your ordered perceptions. That means totally let go. That is when you come to the transcending stages. That way you completely overcome. You transcend beyond that. That's different. But ascetic prayers is something, it doesn't involve mortification. It involves denying. So that you could allow prayers to come in, mysteries to come in, all of that, so which is, it's kind of a gratification. It's more temporal gratifications. You see, whereas mortification and transcension, it is not temporal, it is spiritual. So we need to go through the temporal process to reach the spiritual process, spiritual stage. And then you go into mortification and transcendence. Now you are a person with a realized soul and realized wisdom.
What is mortification?
Mortification is completely killing it. That's exactly what it is. You really are going to completely let go of your desires, one by one or collectively. It really doesn't matter. You don't want any desires from now on. You don't want any attachments from now on. You don't want any perceptive knowledge of your own from now on. That's the mortification point, transcendence. And all of that happens at that point. See, when you are at a temporal level and when you are, looking for gratifications at a, temporal level, meaning, these are spiritual gratifications still, but at a temporal level. Then comes the spiritual, gratifications at the spiritual level. That's the two different things. But the grace of God and the beauty of it is, even when you are at temporal levels and when you are going through the gratification process, God is so loving and so merciful. He will give you the glimpses of your soul and your wisdom. So don't think that it is only going to happen when I reach the ultimate level. No. God is way too merciful, way too loving for that. And He cannot wait to take you to the highest, peak of the mountains. You see, where you can see God and Moses and Elijah and Himself in their own divinity. He is going to do all of that to you. But it does not mean that He is not revealing Himself along the way. He does, He will. So with confidence and faith, start at temporal levels and start going for those temporal, gratifications of your soul and of your wisdom.